All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. NBA DFS video. That is right. The NBA is back. It's Tuesday edition. It's October 24th. We have 2 games to go over. So I don't really know what you guys would like to see in these videos. So leave a comment down below what kind of things you're looking for. I know we kind of do it with baseball. We break down each matchup, which I'm going to try to do. There's 2 games. There's 4 teams. We only have stats to go off of from last year, like our NBA points allowed by position, which you can find right on the website. So I'm still trying to figure out what exactly you guys would like to see in these videos. So once I know, I can kind of collaborate, see all of the possibilities, and then we can move forward and see what you guys would like to see in those games. So this breakdown's hopefully gonna help you out starting with NBA. Obviously 2 games, not a ton to go over, but we did add the NBA tab. We got the fantasy points allowed by position, we got the Vegas odds, the player projections, the DFS chalk. So those are the chalk plays. If you're playing cash, if you're playing GPP, you might want to avoid them. I'm looking at possibly adding ownership percentages for NBA. So that is something I'm looking into. I got to figure out a model to get that out there. And I do have some simulations, but I don't have much to go off of with the simulation, so it's kind of hard to go with that at the moment. But I wanted to bring this to your attention. I wanted to get this out to you as early as possible. So if you've never been here before, we break it down as much as we possibly can when we have all the information that we have. If any of our videos get at least 50 likes, you leave a comment, and you are a subscriber to our YouTube channel, you will have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus, brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Currently, now that includes MMA, NASCAR, NBA, NFL, and PGA. If any video of ours gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month of DFS content, normally $24.99. We do include sports betting with this as well. If any of our videos get 125 likes, you have a chance to win a free year, normally $199. And any video of ours gets at least 150 likes, you have a chance to win a lifetime pass, normally $499 value. So a lot of ways to win. Another way to do it, if you go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, FTA Plus right here. Click on the yearly pass, normally, like I said, $199. Use the promo code Thursday. All one word, all capital letters. You're going to get a yearly pass for $75 instead of $199. So that being said, I'm trying to bring you as much information as I possibly can for this. We obviously had the preseason. Now it's the regular season. It feels like it just ended, but it's been over 4 months. So we kind of look at this. We have this information here with the NBA, but we have matchups. So we have 2 matchups. Like I said, we can talk about them. Just depends on what we look at. So as you can see, Nuggets at the Lakers. We know what the Nuggets did. They're defending champs. They are a 4.5-point favor as of the making of this video. The over/under is at 227.5. So we look at this. Lakers, we know that they've struggled the past few years. I just don't know which Laker team we're going to get. Are we going to get the Nuggets we know they're a really good team. So we can dig into this a little bit. So let's just take a look at the matchup. We'll look into this matchup here, and we'll go from there. So it doesn't have like the players like we did with MLB, but we will look into it on DraftKings. So just kind of looking at this, you see that Denver's a huge money favorite, minus 200, 4.5 spread, 227 over under there. Odds of winning, they got Denver at 64%. So this is if you're sports betting. And then implied team totals, we have Denver at 116 points, where we have the Lakers at 111.5. So then they do have the last 6 head-to-head matchups. We see that the last 6 have all gone to, or the 5 of the last 6, the last 5 have gone to Denver. And then all the way back on December 16, 2022, we saw the Lakers take down Denver, and they were actually underdogs there. So you can see the over-unders. It's at 227 here. went under, over, under, over, under, under. So it just depends. Start the season. Everyone's supposed to be healthy. We kind of know who maybe is banged up or anything like that. And we're going to look at those plays over on DraftKings. So we will take a look at that. The last 10 results, you can see these are all the numbers here. The spread, whether or not the spread won, the over-under hit, you can see all of that there. The offensive matchup edge, the last 5 games, the average score went to the Lakers. Last 10 games and the season, obviously last season, which doesn't make any sense to me. But then average score allowed, Denver. You can kind of see the defensive matchup. So offense, defense, obviously wins championships. We saw what Denver was able to do last year. So we see that matchup, and then we kind of want to look at it. So if you go to look at here, NBA points allowed, you can see by position. So just looking at the Lakers against the opposing, and this is obviously last year, we don't have any information to go off of right now. Defenses change a little bit, players go back and forth, but this is what we've got to go off of right now. So if you look at the Lakers, this is how many fantasy points they averaged on DraftKings. You can also do FanDuel. We've got the Lakers averaged 54.8 fantasy points per game to the opposing point guard position. They ranked 29th out of 30th against the opposing point guard. So if you look into this and you look at Denver point guards, you got Jamal Murray, Reggie Jackson. I mean, those are the two that are probably going to play. Jamal Murray makes the most sense. Game logs, you can kind of see, obviously being in the championship and stuff like that. You can see the fantasy points he was getting. I love him at his price at 7,500. His matchup, you can see right here. This is the matchup. This is the defense that we are looking at. And this is just everything that we'd like. You've seen, and this is kind of what we do with baseball. So Jamal Murray in 8 career games against them, 84 field goals made of 172 attempted. He's 26 of 66 three-pointers made. We can see rebounds per game. He's averaging 5.6. Assists per game, 5.3. He's averaging 27.6 points per game against the Lakers and 47.6 fantasy points per game against the Lakers in those 8 games. So I am putting him in there right off the bat. So that's kind of what we're going to do. If this is something you like, let me know. If you'd like to see something different, you got to let me know what you would like to see. So then we go here. Lakers give up only 44.2 fantasy points per game to the opposing shooting guard, which ranks 12th out of 32. 43.8 against the opposing small forward, which they rank 11th out of 30. Power forward here, 48.1 fantasy points, and that ranks 20 out of 30th. Against the center, the Lakers are not the best, 55.5 fantasy points per game to opposing centers, which ranks 26 out of 30th, which it means Jokic, he's in for me. He's going to be expensive. I completely get that, but this is how we build our lineups out there. So that being said, we then look at the Denver Nuggets. 53.4 fantasy points per game against the opposing point guard. So if we look at that, the opposing point guard here for the Lakers would be Russell or Vincent. Most likely it's going to be Russell. D'Angelo Russell, if he gets in there. We can kind of see his splits-wise. He's faced 7 games last year against them. He's averaging 24.6 minutes per game. So this is a big thing. Minutes per game in NBA are key. You want to see, 25, 30 minutes because you don't want them to sub out to miss those points. Only averaging 20.4 fantasy points per game here. You can see steals less than 1, blocks less than 1, assists less than 5, rebounds per game less than 2. So you can see, he hasn't done very well against them, averaging that 20.4, where his average on the year was 32.3. So that's kind of what we're looking at, and kind of how you build through here. Again, it's going to be a little bit different just due to the fact that we've only have stats from last year, and things have changed in the last 4 months since we've seen these teams. So wanted to bring that to your attention. These are obviously, this might not go how we want it first couple of games. We're looking to see what works best for you guys and for us. So we look at that. Denver's really good against the opposing shooting guard. They rank 3rd out of 30. So if we look at that, the opposing shooting guard, Austin Reeves, you could use Russell there. Probably not focusing on this. But again, with 2 games, you got to get a little creative building your lineups out, kind of just like with baseball, what we've been talking about. You can see Denver Nuggets, they do struggle against the small forward. They rank 23rd out of 30 here. Obviously, we know that the small forward here would be LeBron James. We'd put him in there. Again, though, when you build this lineup out like this, it's going to be hard to find the players that you need, because now we can only average about 46.40 per position in the last 4 positions that are available. So use that knowledge to however you want. Power forward, 45.4. They rank 7th out of 30, so pretty good. So that'd be Anthony Davis or LeBron James on DraftKings. You get both of those positions. And then against the center, 51.7. They rank 10th out of 20, or out of 30, so they're pretty good in that situation. So that's kind of just the thought in the first game. Maybe we can look at those. Maybe we don't. Let's check out the next matchup. We've got the Warriors at the Suns. The Warriors are currently a 1-point favorite with an over-under of 232.5 there. Odds of winning, it's up in the air. They don't know. The money line is the exact same. The spread's only 1. It could be a pretty good game here. You've got Kevin Durant going against his former team. We kind of look at this. It's been back and forth. The last game they played in March, Golden State won. Remember, last year, Golden State struggled. They struggled through the part of the season. Come back here, you see they don't play a ton, but you can see just the matchups here. It should be a close game. We could see a lot of points in this game. 232.5 over under is pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. So let's take a look. Golden State, they rank 19th against the point guard, 52.3 fantasy points per game they're giving up. 16th against the shooting guard, 44.5. 19th against the small forward, 44.3. 15 out of 30, so right in the middle at 46.9 against the opposing power forward. And then against the center, 54.6 fantasy points per game they're giving up, ranked 21st out of 30th there. So let's take a look at the Phoenix Sun and let's see all of their players. So looking at point guard, Devin Booker, he's questionable. We see he was limited due to a sore toe. He's obviously should play. It's the start of the season. I fully expect him to play. Splits-wise, only played Golden State 3 games, averaging 35.4 minutes per game. So he is playing damn near the entire game. His field goal made percentage is over 500, which is great. 3 points is 333, made 5 of 15. So free throws made, 28 out of 33. Rebounds per game, 2.7. Assists per game, 5.7. He's averaging 47.7 fantasy points per game against Golden State last year and 31 actual points. So he's been hitting them very, very well. So that is an option for you. Obviously, Brad Beal, I don't really know what we're going to get out of him. Splits-wise, only played Golden State once last year, averaged 34.4 minutes in that game, made 3 of 8, so he's shooting the ball. He was trying for 3-pointers a ton. So we were looking for this, and that's exactly kind of what we have. 6,900 is a little bit cheaper option, depending if you want to go with LeBron James, depending if you want to go with Jokic. You maybe take James out. You could go with Booker, and you could go Beal. Just depending what you want to go with there. So Booker could be there. Beal could be your point guard. You could put him in the guard or utility, the average 4,300. Again, it's going to be, get a little creative when there's only 2 games. So we look at that. Small forward for Phoenix. Like I said, Golden State, small forward. They average 44.3 fantasy points per game, ranked 19th out of there. So that could be a little Grayson Allen if you like him. Only played 2 games against Golden State there, averaged 22.9. At 4,900, he's kind of cheap. Let's just throw him in there. Not saying this is a lineup we're going to use, but I wanted to bring that out there. So, also, power forward, 46.9. They rank 15th. Power forward for Phoenix against his old team is Durant, if you want to pay that, but then you can only average 2,000, which you can't build a lineup with. So, it's going to get a little dicey in this one. And then, again, Golden State with the center, who's going to be the center for Phoenix to go through there. It's going to be Nurkic, most likely. Bull here, splits-wise, played 1 game last year, 18.4. He's going to be a cheap option. If you throw him in there at 3,500, you can build through there. Again, we don't really know how he's going to be playing, if he's going to be playing much. played the second fewest minutes of any Sun player Thursday once the regular season rolls around. He's expected to be Phoenix's third center behind Nurkic and Eubanks. So Bol is pretty much out. So then it gets to center position. Nurkic obviously is the most expensive one, but then you got Eubanks. Eubanks at 4,700 allows some things. So that would be an option, a tournament option for me if you want to build lineups through there. So then we get to the Golden State Warriors. How have the Phoenix Suns fared? 13th against the point guard at only averaging 49.8. You got 14th against 44.3 fantasy points on the shooting guard. They are the best against the small forward. So Phoenix small forward, Klay Thompson, probably don't want to use him. They're really good against the small forward. Kuminga, I don't know if he's going to play, but he is averaging 17.2 fantasy points per game in that game there. So that's kind of the thought behind some of these. Phoenix, they rank middle of the pack here, 47.1 against the power forward, and they rank 7th against the center position there. So that being said, that's kind of the breakdown, what you're looking at, what we could find. Depending on when you watch this video, kind of see where the plays have gone, where the Vegas numbers have gone, and where we could go building through there. So I do have some simulations done, like I said, just kind of looking. I don't think it's going to be a surprise, but just looking at some of the plays that make sense. Nikola Jokic, looking through, now being very expensive is the thing. So being 10,000 here, this is where value is. So obviously 2 times value would be 20 fantasy points. 3 is 30, 4 is 40, so on and so forth. So just looking at this, so we did 1,000 simulations currently, because I'm not doing 10,000 like baseball because I don't have all the information that I need. But you can kind of look at this. Some of the plays in those simulations, he hit 5 times value 9.2% of the time, 6 times value 0.6% of the time, and 6.5 times value at 0.1% of the time. So he is very expensive. I get that. That is value. But points consistency, where we've simulated and he's gotten points. In those simulations, he hit 50 points 80.7% of the time. He hit 55, 69.8% of the time. 60 points was 55.1% of the time. 65 points was 40.9% of the time. And 70 fantasy points was 27.2% of the time. He's in a fantastic smash spot. I think he absolutely could own the Lakers if we look at what he did last year. 8 games against the Lakers, he was averaging 65.5 fantasy points per game and 25.5 actual points per game, along with 13.4 rebounds per game, 10.8 assists per game, and 1 block per game in those situations. So that's kind of what we've got. You've got Jamal Murray, who's in a smash spot, like I said, in this matchup against the Lakers. Looking at his points here, the most amount that he did was 25 fantasy points at 89.8% of the time, 30 at 79% of the time. If we go up to 50 fantasy points here, 16.6% of the time, 55 fantasy points per game here, 8% of the time, 60 fantasy points, 3.3% of the time, 65 was only 1.2% of the time, and hitting 70 fantasy points was only 0.3% of the time. So I don't want to go through all the simulations because I don't know if they're going to affect anything. I kind of want to get about a week or 2 in, maybe a month in before we start doing the simulations to actually get how the defenses have done, any of the changes with the offenses, anything like that. So that being said, hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell me what you would like to see in this. We're going to have an article out there. So with the article, what I do is normally we have an article and it's got like the top 3 players at each position with our projected fantasy points. So that will be on the website. So kind of like baseball, but we actually basketball is easier to project fantasy points than baseball, because the basketball player is going to be out there playing, X amount of times, X amount of minutes out there. Baseball, you could strike out 4 times and not hit any fantasy points. So with models and everything we're able to do, we can project out players. So on a normal slate where we have more than 2 games, we'll have usually about 3 top tier players, 3 mid-tier players, and 3 value plays with each position and the projected fantasy points out there. So that is kind of what we're looking at. It won't be for this one when there's only 2 games. We're going to have top 3 players at each position, but with 2 games. With anything, with at least 5 games on a slate, that's when we'll have top, mid, and value plays with the projection. So if that's something you like, that article will be completely free. Click the link down below. Check that out. Good luck on the beginning of the NBA season. Continue with us. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got NFL. We've got PGA. We've got everything going on the website. Go FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Again, if you want a yearly pass, normally $199, use the promo code Thursday. All one word, all capital letters. Get a yearly pass for only $75 while supplies last. So good luck on this NBA opening day. Let's bring home some bacon together, guys. Peace!